I clutched my phone, its cracked screen burning my eyes. Tom's text glowed, "Meet me tonight, babe. Not for me." The lavender candle flickered its scent sour in my Denver bedroom. My heart thumped, drowning out the silence of our apartment. 16 years, and I was the last to know his lies. His cologne clung to the pillow, sharp and unfamiliar. Ava slept down the hall, unaware of her father's betrayal. I checked our joint account, zero balance. My security stolen. My hands trembled, rage mixing with cold dread. Was I still his wife, or just a ghost in our home? The chilly Denver air slipped through the window, chilling my skin. I stared at the message, my breath catching in my throat. Tom thought he'd won, leaving me with nothing. But that night, I knew I'd rewrite my story. His coffee mug sat cold on the nightstand, mocking me. I'd trusted him, built a life, raised Ava together. Now his late nights and excuses made sense. A woman's laugh echoed in my mind from his phone. The wedding ring in its dusty box felt heavier now. I wanted to scream, to confront him right then. But Ava's soft snores kept me grounded for now. What would you do with proof of betrayal? I stood frozen, the phone's light fading to black. This was my moment to choose fight or fade. If your partner betrayed you, would you fight or walk away? Where are you listening from? Share your story below. I stood in Mom's Denver kitchen, the scent of fresh bread wrapping around me. The family reunion hummed, voices overlapping, but my smile felt like a lie. Ava's laughter rang out, her floral perfume cutting through the warmth. Family photos clung to the fridge, my wedding picture hidden in the back. Tom's betrayal 4 years past still burned in my chest. He drained our account, left me to scrape by alone. I stirred my coffee, the mug cold against my trembling fingers. Mom's voice sliced through. "Still doing small spreadsheets, Becca Lisa." My sister smirked, her banking success their golden trophy. My heart sank heavy with years of being unseen. Ava's hand found mine, her warmth steadying my unraveling thoughts. I'd raised her alone, freelancing in our cramped apartment. The divorce in 2018 had shattered my world. Tom's late nights, his lies had unraveled so fast. I'd found the text, then the empty bank account. He'd smirked, said I'd never survive without him. But I'd built an app coding through sleepless nights. It sold for $5 million, my secret victory. I hadn't told them, not even Ava yet. Mom's dining room glowed warm light on polished wood. Lisa bragged about her promotion, her voice sharp, confident. "Becca's fine with her little job," she said, dismissing me. Dad sipped his coffee, his eyes fixed on the table. The sting of her words twisted in my gut. I was their quiet Becca, the one who failed. My old wedding ring sat upstairs in its dusty box. I'd stopped wearing it, but its weight lingered. Each photo on the fridge mocked my erased place. Ava's laugh pulled me back, her eyes bright with trust. I'd fought for her, for us, through the wreckage. Flashback nights at my laptop. Ava asleep nearby. The app grew, each line of code my silent rebellion. I'd poured my pain into it, unseen by them. Mom's voice again. Lisa's always been the driven one. My chest tightened, a familiar ache rising. I traced the table's grain, my secret burning inside. Lisa's phone pinged, another work win, no doubt. I sipped my coffee, its bitterness mirroring my heart. They didn't know I'd outdone them all. The kitchen clock ticked, counting years of being overlooked. I'd been invisible, my worth buried under their judgment. Ava whispered, "You okay, Mom?" Her hand was warm. I nodded, but my mind churned with what was coming. The tech conference invite waited in my email. Soon they'd see me, not their shadow. I glanced at Ava, her smile my reason to endure. Flashback. Tom's voice mocking my boring job. I'd sat alone, bills piling up, heart heavy. But every late night I'd built something bigger. The reunion dinner dragged, their chatter fading out. Lisa's smug glance caught me, her eyes cold. I forced a smile, my secret a quiet fire. Mom's bread sat untouched, its warmth now cold. I'd been their failure, but I'd rewritten my story. My app was saving businesses, changing lives. I gripped Ava's hand, her trust grounding me. The dining room felt smaller, their voices distant. I wasn't their shadow anymore. I was rising. Lisa's laugh cut sharper than Mom's words at the reunion. The Denver dining room glowed warm light on polished oak. My coffee mug sat cold, its bitterness burning my throat. Family photos clung to the fridge, my face barely visible. Mom praised Lisa's banking award, her voice thick with pride. Becca's still figuring things out, she said, eyes sliding away. My chest tightened, an ache of being unseen again. Ava's hand brushed mine, her floral perfume a soft anchor. I forced a smile, my heart pounding with buried pain. Lisa leaned back, her diamond earrings glinting smugly. "You're so comfortable, Becca," she said, words like daggers. Dad stayed silent, his coffee cup his only focus. The kitchen clock ticked each second, heavy with judgment. I traced the table's grain, my fingers trembling faintly. Flashback Tom's smirk as he drained our account. His voice mocked, "You'll never make it alone." But I had coding my app through sleepless nights. $5 million, my triumph, they didn't suspect. I hadn't told them, not even Ava, my strength. Lisa's phone pinged, another victory she'd flaunt soon. Mom beamed at her, blind to my quiet fire. The bread's warm scent turned stale in my nose. I felt like a ghost in my family's story. Ava whispered, "You're more than they see, Mom." Her words sparked warmth, but doubt gnawed deeper. Flashback late nights. My laptop's glow, my only light. Each line of code was defiance against Tom's betrayal. Mom's voice snapped me back. Lisa's always been ambitious. My jaw clenched, the room suddenly too small. I excused myself, needing air, needing escape. The hallway dimmed, family portraits lining the walls. My wedding photo tucked away felt like a taunt. I gripped my phone, its cracked screen cold. An email blinked, the tech conference invite. My app was being celebrated, but they didn't know. I stood by the window, Denver's chilly air seeping in. My breath fogged the glass, my reflection a stranger. Lisa's laughter echoed each note, twisting my gut. I'd been their failure, the one who didn't shine. But my app was saving businesses, changing lives. My heart raced, torn between silence and truth. Ava's voice echoed, "You're enough, Mom." I wanted to scream my success, to shatter their smugness. The ring in its box upstairs weighed heavy. I'd stopped wearing it, but its shadow lingered. Flashback Tom's lies, the bank's empty balance. I'd rebuilt from nothing, but they saw nothing. My fingers hovered over the phone, tempted to speak. Lisa's voice carried Becca's, just not like us. The words burned, fueling a fire in my core. I wasn't their shadow anymore. I was rising. The dining table felt like a stage for their judgment. I'd sat there year after year, swallowing their dismissal. Mom's bread sat untouched, its warmth long gone. I'd been invisible, my worth buried under their words. Ava's hand, her touch kept me from breaking. Flashback. Her sleepy hugs during my late-night coding. She'd believed in me when no one else did. Lisa's smug glance caught me, her eyes cold. I forced another smile, my secret burning brighter. My app wasn't just code, it was my rebellion. I glanced at Ava, her trust my only light. The reunion dragged, their voices fading to noise. I'd been their quiet Becca, but not anymore. My phone buzzed again, the conference email glowing. Soon they'd see the woman I'd become. The clock's ticking felt like a countdown now. My app's success was my secret weapon, unspoken. Mom's voice echoed Lisa's, the one who made it. Each word was a needle piercing my resolve. I sipped my coffee, its cold dregs, bitter flashback. The divorce court, Tom's smirk as he left. I'd stood alone, bills piling, heart heavy. But every late night I'd built something bigger. Lisa's earrings sparkled, a reminder of her pedestal. I wanted to stand to spill my truth now, but Ava's eyes held me soft and steady. I'd fought for her, for us, through the wreckage. The dining room's warmth felt like a lie. Mom's pride for Lisa was a wall between us. I traced the table's edge, my pulse quickening. Flashback. My apartment cluttered with bills, hope. I'd coded through tears, building my way out. Lisa's voice again, Becca's happy with her small life. My fingers tightened around the mug, nearly cracking it. I wasn't small, I'd built an empire in silence. The fridge photos mocked me, my smile erased. Ava's hand squeezed mine, her warmth, my shield. I'd been their failure, but I'd rewritten my story. The conference invite was my chance to shine. Mom's dining room felt smaller, their voices distant. I wasn't just Becca, I was a force rising. Would you confront your family's judgment or keep your triumph hidden? I sat in my Denver apartment, the laptop's glow my only companion. The tech conference invite blinked a beacon of my hidden worth. My app had sold for $5 million, but Mom called Lisa the star. The air felt heavy, thick with my lavender candle's fading scent. Lisa's voice echoed Becca's, just comfortable. Her words stung deep. My cracked phone screen showed her call boasting about bonuses. I gripped the contract, its pages crisp, my silent triumph. Ava's music drifted from her room, soft and steady. Flashback. Tom's betrayal, our account drained to nothing. He'd laughed, said I'd never survive without him. But I'd built an app coding through tears and doubt. My fingers traced the desk, cluttered with bills and dreams. Lisa's smug tone replayed, dismissing my entire life. "You're not like me, Becca," she'd said, voice dripping superiority. My chest burned, their judgment a weight I couldn't shake. I opened the contract again, numbers blurring through tears. $5 million, my rebellion against their doubts. Ava's voice broke through. "Mom, you okay?" Her floral perfume lingered as she stood nearby. I nodded, but my heart churned with buried pain. Flashback, divorce court. Tom's smirk as he walked away. I'd stood alone, bills piling, no safety net. Every late night I'd coded my way to freedom. The apartment creaked, Denver's chilly air slipping through. My old wedding ring sat in its box untouched. Its weight pulled a reminder of my past failures. Lisa's words haunted Becca's, happy with her small life. I wasn't small, I'd built something they couldn't fathom. The conference invite glowed, promising a stage for truth. I'd been invited as a speaker, an innovation star. My pulse quickened, torn between silence and shouting. Flashback. Ava bringing coffee during late-night coding. Her sleepy hugs had kept me going, my only light. Lisa's call replayed, her tone cutting through my resolve. I wanted to scream my success to shatter her smugness. The laptop hummed, its warmth grounding my racing thoughts. I'd been their quiet Becca, fading into their shadows. But my app was saving businesses, changing lives. Ava's music paused. She stood in the doorway. "You're enough, Mom," she said, eyes soft and sure. My throat tightened, her words a balm to my wounds. Flashback. Tom's voice mocking my boring job. I'd rebuilt from nothing, but they saw nothing. The conference was my chance to rewrite my story. I clicked the invite, confirming my speech. My hands trembled, the weight of truth heavy. Lisa's laughter from the reunion burned my ears. Mom's voice, "Lisa's the one who made it." Each word carved away at my worth, my resolve. I stood pacing the floor, creaking underfoot. My app wasn't just code, it was my defiance. Ava's trust kept me anchored, her belief unwavering. Flashback nights alone, bills stacked, hope fading. I'd coded through despair, building my empire in silence. Lisa's smugness felt like a challenge I'd already won. The candle flickered, its lavender scent now faint. I wasn't their shadow, I was a force rising. The conference stage waited my moment to shine. My phone buzzed, Lisa's name flashing again. I ignored it, my resolve hardening like steel. Mom's dining room had been their stage, not mine. But soon, they'd see the woman I'd become. The apartment felt smaller, my heart too big for it. Flashback. Ava's sleepy voice. "You got this, Mom." Her faith had carried me through the darkest nights. Lisa's words were a whip, but I'd outgrown them. I stared at the contract, its numbers a quiet roar. My app had changed lives, but mine most of all. The rings box sat upstairs, a relic of pain. I'd stopped wearing it, but its echo lingered. Mom's voice replayed Becca's still figuring things out. Each syllable was a brick in their wall of doubt. I paced again, the floor's creak, my only sound. Ava's music started again, a soft thread of hope. I'd built this life for us against all odds. The conference email glowed my name in bold. I wasn't their failure, I was their reckoning. If you had one shot to prove yourself, would you take it? I stood in the conference prep room, my hands trembling like leaves. The Denver Tech Conference buzzed beyond the door, a restless hum. My app's success, $5 million, felt like a fragile dream. Mom's voice haunted me, Lisa's the one who made it. The air carried coffee's sharp scent, grounding my spinning thoughts. My old wedding ring weighed heavy in my pocket. I'd carried it, a cold reminder of Tom's betrayal. Flashback. His smirk as he drained our account dry. He'd laughed, said I'd never survive without him. But I had coding my app through endless nights. The room's harsh lights burned my eyes, unforgiving. My speech was next, my chance to claim my worth. Ava's text glowed on my phone. "You're my hero, Mom." My throat tightened, her words a flicker of warmth. I gripped the phone, its cracked screen painfully familiar. Flashback, Lisa's laugh at the reunion, sharp and dismissive. "Becca's just comfortable," she'd said, earrings glinting smugly. My chest ached, their judgment a suffocating weight. I was their quiet Becca, the one who failed. But my app was saving businesses, changing lives. The prep room felt small, its walls pressing in. I paced the floor, cool under my unsteady steps. What if they saw me as a fraud like Mom did? The conference badge hung heavy around my neck. Rebecca Larson, Innovation Star, it read in bold. My heart pounded, doubt clawing at my fragile resolve. Flashback. Ava's sleepy hugs during late-night coding sessions. Her faith had carried me through the darkest nights. Mom's words replayed Becca's still figuring things out. Each syllable was a brick in their wall of doubt. I clutched the ring, its metal biting my palm. I'd rebuilt from nothing, but they saw nothing. The CEO's voice echoed, introducing the next speaker. My name rang out sharp and almost unreal. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Flashback, divorce court. Tom's laugh as he walked away. I'd stood alone, bills piling, hope nearly gone. But every line of code had been my defiance. The coffee scent grounded me, sharp and steady. Ava's text glowed again. "You got this, Mom." My eyes stung, her belief my only anchor. Lisa's smugness at the reunion burned my memory. She'd called my life small, her voice dripping superiority, but I'd built an empire in silence, unseen. The stage waited, its lights dazzling through the door. I was no fraud. I was a force rising. My fingers brushed the ring, then let it go. I didn't need its weight anymore. Flashback nights. Alone, my laptop's glow, my light. I'd coded through tears, building my way out. The CEO called my name again, the crowd clapping. My pulse raced, a mix of fear and fire. I wasn't their shadow, I was rewriting my story. Ava's words echoed, "You're enough, Mom." I stepped toward the stage, my heart pounding. The room spun, but her faith steadied me. Lisa's laughter, Mom's dismissal, they didn't define me. My app was proof, my success undeniable. The door opened, the stage's light blinding. I wasn't ready, but I was done hiding. Flashback. Ava's voice soft in the dark. "You're unstoppable." Her belief had been my fuel, my reason to fight. Mom's voice lingered. "Lisa's always been ambitious." Each word had carved away at my worth. I straightened the badge, heavy but proud. I'd been invisible, but I'd built something real. The coffee's scent faded, the crowd's hum growing louder. My hand steadied, the ring's weight fading. Flashback. The divorce, the empty account, the loneliness. I'd faced it all, building my app from ashes. Lisa's words at the reunion stung like fresh wounds. But I wasn't their failure, I was their reckoning. The stage's light felt like a spotlight on my truth. I took a breath, Ava's text burning in my mind. I wasn't just Becca. I was a woman reborn. When you've lost everything, do you still fight for your worth? I gripped the microphone, my family's eyes locked on me unaware. The Denver Tech Conference roared, stage lights searing my skin. My app's $5 million sale burned bright in my chest. Secret still. The crowd's applause crashed like waves echoing in my ears. I'd invited Mom, Dad, and Lisa, masking it as just work. My heart thundered a tangle of fear and fierce defiance. Flashback. Lisa's smirk at the reunion, her words cutting deep. Becca's just comfortable, she'd said, earrings glinting with smugness. The microphone's cold metal anchored my trembling hands. I scanned the crowd, catching Mom's puzzled, distant frown. The CEO's voice boomed. Becca revolutionized accounting for millions. My breath caught their shock, my unspoken victory. Ava sat up front, her smile a beacon of light. Her floral perfume lingered in my memory, steadying me. Flashback. Late nights coding, Ava's coffee warming my hands. Her sleepy hugs had fueled my quiet rebellion. The stage felt vast, its heat pressing against me. Lisa's face shifted, boredom melting into stunned silence. I began my speech, voice steady, despite my nerves. My app started in a small apartment born from struggle. The crowd leaned in their attention, a heavy weight. Mom's eyes widened. Dad's coffee cup froze mid-sip. Flashback, Tom's laugh as he drained our account. He'd mocked, "You'll never make it without me," but every line of code had been my answer. The microphone hummed, amplifying my every heartbeat. I spoke of small businesses, saved lives, transformed. Lisa's jaw dropped, her earrings no longer proud. My heart raced, the truth spilling out at last. "I built this alone," I said, voice rising. The crowd clapped their cheers, a roar of validation. Flashback, divorce court, Tom's smirk as he walked away. I'd stood alone, bills piling, hope nearly gone. But Ava's faith had kept my fire burning. The stage lights felt like a spotlight on my truth. Lisa's eyes met mine, shock replacing her smugness. Mom whispered to Dad, her pride for Lisa fading. I wasn't their quiet Becca anymore. The conference badge hung proud around my neck. Rebecca Larson, innovation star, it declared in bold. My voice grew stronger, each word a release. I'd been invisible, but now I was undeniable. Flashback. Ava's voice soft. "You're enough, Mom." Her words echoed, grounding me in this moment. The crowd's applause swelled, lifting my trembling heart. Lisa's silence screamed louder than her past words. I spoke of resilience, of building from nothing. Mom's face softened, a flicker of regret surfacing. I didn't need their approval, but it felt good. Flashback nights alone. My laptop's glow, my guide. I'd coded through tears, defying their doubts. The microphone's feedback squealed, jarring my thoughts. I paused, Ava's smile steadying my racing pulse. Lisa's stunned face was a victory I hadn't expected. I'd rewritten my story, and they saw it now. The crowd stood, their cheers shaking the room. My hand steadied the microphone, no longer heavy. I was no fraud. I was a force rising. Flashback. Ava's sleepy voice. "You're unstoppable, Mom." Her belief had carried me through the darkness. Mom's voice replayed Lisa's, the one who made it. Each word had been a brick in their wall. I stood taller, the badge a shield of truth. My app wasn't just code, it was my defiance. The stage's heat faded, replaced by my fire. Lisa's eyes dropped, her smugness crumbling away. I spoke of hope, of rising from betrayal. The crowd's energy surged, their claps a tide. Flashback. My apartment bills stacked, heart heavy. I'd built my empire in silence, unseen. Mom's frown softened, a crack in her judgment. I locked eyes with Ava, her pride my anchor. The stage felt like home, my truth finally free. I wasn't their shadow, I was their reckoning. Would you reveal your triumph publicly or keep it private? Where are you listening from? Has silence ever been your strength? Subscribe to EN Reddit Story for more real stories of justice and healing. Lisa's jaw dropped as I stepped off the stage, her confidence shattered. The Denver conference hall buzzed applause still ringing in my ears. My app's $5 million sale was no longer my hidden truth. The stage lights faded, but my heart burned with quiet fire. I'd invited Mom, Dad, and Lisa, masking it as just work. Their faces now told a story I'd waited years to see. Flashback Lisa's smirk at the reunion, her words slicing deep. Becca's just comfortable, she'd said, earrings glinting with smugness. The hotel lobby's soft jazz curled around me, soothing yet distant. I stood by a marble pillar, its coolness grounding my trembling hands. Lisa approached, her earrings dull in the dim light. Becca, I had no idea. She stammered, her voice small. My chest tightened, triumph mingling with old raw pain. Mom's eyes met mine, a flicker of regret surfacing. Dad's face glowed, a rare pride breaking his silence. Flashback Tom's laugh as he drained our joint account. He'd mocked, "You'll never make it without me." But I had building my app from tears and ashes. Ava's smile from the crowd lingered in my heart. Her floral perfume, a memory, steadied my racing pulse. I'd done this for her, for us, against all odds. Lisa's voice trembled. "Why didn't you tell us?" I met her gaze, calm but unyielding, my voice steady. "You never asked," I said, each word deliberate. The lobby's clinking glasses felt like a distant celebration. My conference badge hung proud. Innovation star in bold. I wasn't their quiet Becca anymore. I was rising. Flashback. Late nights coding, Ava's coffee warming my hands. Her sleepy hugs had fueled my silent rebellion. I planned to invite them to my new apartment. A dinner to seal this moment, to claim my truth. Mom's frown at the reunion replayed Lisa's the star. Each word had been a brick in their wall of doubt. But I'd shattered it, my app changing countless lives. The lobby's air felt crisp. Denver's chill seeping through. I clutched my phone, its cracked screen achingly familiar. Ava's text glowed, "You're unstoppable, Mom." My throat tightened, her faith my guiding light. Lisa stood frozen, her usual smugness gone. I didn't need their approval, but this felt right. Flashback divorce court, Tom's smirk as he walked away. I'd stood alone, bills piling, hope nearly gone. But every line of code had been my defiance. The lobby's jazz softened, a melody of closure. I planned the dinner, a table set for truth. Mom's regretful glance was new, almost tender now. Dad's quiet nod felt like a long-lost hug. I'd rebuilt my life, and they finally saw it. The marble pillar cooled my trembling fingers. Lisa's silence spoke louder than her past words. I spoke of my app, its impact on small businesses. They listened, no interruptions, no dismissive glances. Flashback. Ava's voice soft. "You're enough, Mom." Her belief had carried me through the darkness. The lobby's lights dimmed, but my resolve burned brighter. I'd invite them to my apartment, no more shadows. Mom's voice at the reunion stung Becca's figuring things out. Each syllable had carved away at my worth. But I'd built an empire unseen until now. The conference had been my stage, my truth unveiled. Lisa's eyes dropped, her confidence crumbling to dust. I planned the dinner with care, a final step. Ava's pride in me was my greatest reward. Flashback nights alone, my laptop's glow, my guide. I'd coded through tears, defying their relentless doubts. The lobby's air felt lighter, my heart unburdened at last. I wasn't their failure, I was their reckoning. Dad's proud smile lingered, a crack in his silence. I'd set the table for closure, not for revenge. The conference badge felt lighter, my truth now free. Lisa's stammered words were a start, not enough. I'd built this life for Ava, for myself. Flashback. Her sleepy voice, "You got this, Mom." Her faith had been my fuel, my reason to rise. The lobby's jazz faded, but my fire burned on. I was no longer their shadow, I was a force. My apartment dinner would be my final word. Mom's regret, Lisa's shock, they'd see me clearly. I'd risen from their doubts stronger than ever. The marble floor gleamed, reflecting my steady gaze. I wasn't proving too much, I was proving enough. Is this justice, or am I proving too much? My new Denver apartment glowed warm lights casting soft shadows. The table was set fresh pasta steaming in the air. My family sat across from me, their faces uneasy. Mom clutched a framed article about my app's success. Lisa's eyes darted, her usual smugness nowhere to be found. Dad's quiet smile felt like a long-lost embrace. Ava's laughter filled the room, her pride my anchor. Flashback, the conference stage, their jaws dropping in shock. I'd revealed my $5 million app, my silent triumph. The dining table gleamed, reflecting my steady gaze. Lisa's voice broke the silence, Becca. I was wrong. Her apology hung heavy words I'd never expected. My heart stirred a mix of relief and old wounds. The pasta's warmth curled around us, comforting, yet tense. Mom set the article down, its headline bold and true. I'm sorry, Becca, she said, her voice soft. Dad nodded, his eyes glistening. I'm proud of you, kid. Flashback. Tom's smirk as he drained our account. He'd mocked, you'll never make it without me. But I had building my empire from nothing. Ava's floral perfume drifted, grounding my racing thoughts. I'd done this for her. For us against all odds. The wine glasses clinked, a fragile sound of peace. Lisa's earrings caught the light, no longer smug. I underestimated you, she said, her voice cracking. My throat tightened, their words a balm to my pain. Flashback, Lisa's laugh at the reunion, dismissing my life. Becca's just comfortable, she'd said, cutting deep. But the conference had shattered their wall of doubt. The apartment's warmth wrapped around me, my new home. I wasn't their quiet Becca anymore. I was free. Ava raised her glass, her smile bright and fierce. To Mom she said, who showed us strength. My eyes stung, her pride worth more than millions. Flashback. Late nights coding, Ava's coffee by my side. Her sleepy hugs had fueled my silent rebellion. The article on the wall gleamed, my truth framed. Mom's regretful glance held a tenderness I'd missed. Dad's hand brushed mine, a quiet, steady warmth. I'd rebuilt my life, and they finally saw it. The pasta's scent faded, replaced by a new calm. Lisa's apology lingered, a crack in her armor. I didn't need their validation, but it felt right. Flashback, divorce court, Tom's laugh as he left. I'd stood alone, bills piling, hope nearly gone. But every line of code had been my defiance. The dining room felt alive, our voices soft but real. Ava shared my story at school, calling me her hero. My heart swelled, her words my greatest reward. Mom's eyes met mine, no longer distant or cold. I misjudged you, she said, voice barely above a whisper. The table's glow felt like a stage for closure. I'd risen from their doubts, stronger than ever. Lisa's silence spoke louder than her past words. I sipped my wine, its warmth steadying my hands. Flashback, Ava's voice. You're enough, Mom. Her faith had carried me through the darkness. The apartment's lights dimmed, but my resolve shone. I'd set this table for truth, not for revenge. Dad's proud nod was a gift I hadn't expected. My app had changed lives, but mine most of all. The wine glass felt light, my heart unburdened. Lisa's apology wasn't enough, but it was a start. I'd built this life for Ava, for myself. Flashback nights alone, my laptop's glow, my guide. I'd coded through tears, defying their relentless doubts. The dining room's warmth felt like a new beginning. Mom's framed article was a symbol, not a chain. I wasn't their failure, I was their reckoning. Ava's laughter rang a melody of hope. I'd found closure, my truth no longer hidden. The table felt like home, my story complete. Would you forgive your family or let them go? The glow of my Denver apartment lingered after our dinner. Fresh pasta's warmth had faded, but their apologies warmed me still. Lisa's words echoed softly. Becca, I was so wrong. Her voice had trembled, her usual smugness gone. Mom's regretful glance felt like a crack in her wall. Dad's proud nod was a hug I'd long craved. Ava's laughter filled my heart, her floral perfume lingering. The framed article gleamed my app's triumph, now known. Flashback. The conference stage, their jaws dropping in shock. I'd revealed my $5 million sale, my silent victory. The dining table's polish reflected my unburdened heart. Lisa's earrings no longer sparkled with her old arrogance. I misjudged you. Mom said, her voice barely audible. My chest stirred, old wounds softening under their words. Flashback, Tom's smirk as he drained our account dry. He'd mocked, "You'll never make it without me." But I had coding my app through endless nights. Ava's smile grounded me, her pride. My steady anchor. The wine glasses sat empty, their clink a fading memory. I wasn't their quiet Becca anymore, I was seen. Flashback. Lisa's laugh at the reunion, sharp and dismissive. Her words had cut deep, but now they dissolved. The apartment's warmth wrapped me, my haven reborn. I'd rebuilt this life, and they finally saw it. Ava's voice rang, "You're my hero, Mom." My throat tightened, her love my greatest reward. The article on the wall was my truth framed forever. My heart felt lighter, their apologies a quiet balm. I'd risen from their doubts stronger than ever before. I stood on my Denver balcony, the city's skyline twinkling below. The crisp night air brushed my skin, sharp and freeing. My new apartment glowed softly behind me, a haven reborn. Ava's scarf draped my shoulder, its softness a quiet embrace. Her laughter from our dinner lingered, warming my heart. The framed article on the wall caught the starlight's gleam. My app's $5 million sale was no longer my secret. Flashback. The conference stage, their jaws dropping in shock. Lisa's apology, Mom's regret, Dad's proud nod. They saw me. I'd found closure not through revenge, but through truth. The city's lights pulsed a rhythm of new beginnings. I wasn't their quiet Becca anymore. I was whole. Ava's voice echoed, "Mom, you showed me strength." My throat tightened, her pride. My greatest treasure. Flashback. Tom's smirk as he drained our account dry. He'd mocked, "You'll never make it without me." But I had building my empire from ashes and tears. The balcony's railing felt cool under my trembling fingers. I'd mentored women entrepreneurs, sharing my app's success. Their stories mirrored mine: betrayal, struggle, quiet triumph. Flashback, Lisa's laugh at the reunion, sharp and dismissive. "Becca's just comfortable," she'd said, cutting deep. But the dinner had shifted everything, their eyes open. Mom's framed article was a symbol, not a chain. I sipped my wine, its warmth steadying my racing heart. Ava's floral perfume lingered, a memory of her love. I'd built this life for her, for us, against all odds. Flashback, late nights coding Ava's coffee by my side. Her sleepy hugs had fueled my silent rebellion. The skyline sparkled, each light a story of hope. I donated part of my earnings to single moms. My legacy wasn't just money, it was resilience and courage. Lisa's apology replayed Becca, "I was wrong." Her words were a start, not my everything. Dad's quiet pride felt like a long-lost hug. Flashback, divorce court, Tom's laugh as he walked away. I'd stood alone, bills piling, hope nearly gone. But every line of code had been my defiance. The balcony's breeze carried away my old doubts. Ava joined me, her scarf brushing my arm gently. "You're my hero, Mom," she said, eyes shining bright. My eyes stung, her love. My truest reward. I'd risen from their shadows stronger than ever. The article's headline gleamed, "Innovation Star." It wasn't about their approval, it was mine. Flashback. Mom's voice, Lisa's the one who made it. Each word had carved away at my worth. But I'd rebuilt my app, changing countless lives. The city's hum felt like a song of closure. I mentored others, their dreams, now my purpose. Ava's laughter from the dinner echoed pure and free. I'd set that table for truth, not for revenge. The wine glass felt light, my heart unburdened. Flashback. Ava's voice, "You're enough, Mom." Her faith had carried me through the darkness. The skyline glowed a canvas of my new life. I wasn't their failure, I was their reckoning. My legacy was Ava's strength, my gift to her. The balcony's air felt like a fresh start. I'd found peace, my story no longer hidden. Lisa's regret, Mom's apology, they saw me now. I mentored single moms, passing on my fire. Ava's scarf warmed me, her love my anchor. The city's lights twinkled, each one a second chance. My app was more than code, it was my heart. Flashback nights alone, my laptop's glow, my guide. I'd coded through tears, defying their relentless doubts. The balcony felt like a stage for my truth. I was no longer their shadow, I was light. Ava's voice rang. You showed me what's possible. My legacy wasn't just mine, it was hers too. The wine's warmth lingered, a quiet celebration. I'd built this life from nothing for us. Flashback. The reunion, Lisa's smugness, Mom's dismissal. Their words had stung, but they no longer held me. I'd mentored women, their victories now my joy. The skyline's glow was a promise of more. Ava stood beside me, her presence my home. Her scarf's softness reminded me of her hugs. I'd fought for her future, for her dreams. Flashback, Tom's betrayal, the empty bank account. I'd rebuilt from zero, my app my answer. The balcony's breeze felt like freedom unconfined. My heart was full, my journey complete. I wasn't just Becca, I was a force reborn. The city's lights danced a celebration of me. I'd found my place, no longer needing their nod. Ava's love was my legacy, my truest mark. The wine glass gleamed, reflecting my steady gaze. I'd risen from betrayal, my story now whole. Flashback. My apartment bills stacked, hope fading. I'd coded through despair, building my empire. The balcony's air was crisp, my soul at peace. I mentored others, their strength now my pride. Ava's scarf swayed, her love my eternal guide. The city's hum sang of second chances of healing. I'd built a legacy, not just for me, but for her. Have you rebuilt after betrayal? Share your story below. Where are you listening from? What's your legacy? Subscribe to EN Reddit Story for more real stories of justice and healing.